So I think that the biggest question is, why would anybody want to spend more money on a kindergarten program when they can either get it for free for the same amount of time, or even pay a little extra just for an all-day kindergarten? And that was something that my family had to make a decision on, but I'm interested in why you made that decision.
I think for us, like, there's two things. One is the small class size. Like, it's great, you know, you look at the public schools are in the 20s, and, you know, Christian's class was, I think, 12, something like that. So they got a lot more one-on-one attention. And the other thing for me is it's really play-based. You know, I feel like there's so much academics. You know, it's a longer day, and maybe that's good, especially for some working parents and things like that, but they're packing so many academics in there, and I've even heard, you know, them pulling kids out of recess or art or some of those things to focus more on academics. And I really felt like in Mrs. Zelm's class that it was all play-based, like it was so fun. And for me, I feel like it's the reason that Christian is excelling so much in first grade is because he had such a great experience with her last year.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, the experience that I had with both my kids, especially, but I'd say my son, who was the younger one, is Mrs. Zelm really helped him excel from where he was being a second child. He was already ahead of the game a little bit more than not being the oldest. He was looked up to his sister, who had also been in the program, and she was doing spelling tests with him, where he was even did up to third grade words. I don't probably
Yeah, he was more advanced in the class.
Probably think that a lot of the other area kindergarten classes in the public school had that opportunity and the individual treatment, and I know there was other kids in the class did special things with them to help them excel that they may have missed out by being in the public system and being not just one of 12, but one of, 28 or 30 kids.
Mm-hmm. That actually is my experience too, because my older daughter, she's very advanced. So being in a smaller class size, but then also Mrs. Zelm was able to identify where she needed to be, and her needs were met. And I feel that if she would have gone to the public school, she would have kind of got lost in the crowd. And Mrs. Zelm was giving her, like you said, spelling tests. Even if she knew she was way beyond sight words. She wasn't
identified that she was more advanced.
Absolutely, and her needs were met. Her needs were absolutely met in a very comfortable environment, a very caring environment, and she challenged her. Even in kindergarten, she challenged her, and and then obviously my second daughter went too, and both girls just loved her. And out of all their teachers, and my kids are in 4th and 6th grade right now, they always say Mrs. Zelm was their favorite teacher, always.
I know that when Claire finally got to the public school, she was reading at a mid-second grade level. So that was great. I mean, she was probably one of the younger ones in her class, but as far as the first grade goes now in the public school, she's more advanced.
A lot of the kids, I feel, with my experience and talking to the other moms, their kids enter first grade more advanced. And that carries on. And I have to add on with the small classrooms, besides Mrs. Allen being a fantastic teacher, she was also good at utilizing parent helpers, and they had an aide. So, there were many people actually involved in our kids' lives and helping them to grow.
3 people per 12 kids.
Yeah, and my daughter is a 7th grader, and my twin boys are the 4th graders, and they still say Mrs. Zelm is their favorite teacher. And I asked Rosie, what did you like so much besides saying she's my favorite teacher? And she's like, she cared about everybody.
She's so, just seeing
and
her.
she was fun and exciting.
Yeah. Seeing her jump up and down and dance with the kids.
Dress up in costumes. Yeah.
Just a lot of fun.
My experience was I didn't want my son to go to, from 2.5 hours 3 times a week or 4 times a week to, going into kindergarten 2.5 hours a day, because at that time there was only a half-day program. I wanted him to have something a little, longer, but I didn't want the whole, I just thought 9 to 3:30. I mean, I would die knowing he was going that long. It's a long time. So this was perfect. It was right in between. It started at 8:45. That was perfect. 1:30, I'd pick him up. Still had time, to do things. That was probably one of my favorite things. And then it went on to, after I got to know Mrs. Zelm, I just loved her so much, and I always used to joke that I know that if somebody dangerous came into the school, that she would throw her body over my child.
That's important.
I mean, all the children, not just, my
Right.
child. But,
Absolutely.
when you have that feeling as a parent,
Right.
when you walk out that door that my child is going to be safe here, that was, that's something, I would have paid twice as much, of course, if I could.
That's a great point.
Absolutely.
And where's your son applying to schools? Princeton?
My son has been accepted to Northwestern now, and, in no small part due to, he was advanced, and she did recognize that he was advanced, and she met his needs, and, she is able to spend, like you said, with the aides and stuff, spend time with each kid. Even when she would do, conferences, she had details.
She did.
Right, that's been a shock for me.
Having
Yeah.
now, I have 4 kids, all of them went through the program, with Mrs. Elm. When she sits down with you and she goes through every item and she remembers, she knows like, oh, Izzy she's like this and she does a little bit of this, but I'd like to see her improve on that. That's amazing,
Right.
I can't say enough good things about,
I think for, like I said, the cost of sending your child to a private kindergarten, which isn't that much comparatively, right? These days, what is it now? Kindergarten is the new, it's practically second grade. You have to be ready. You have to be ready by the time you get into kindergarten because these children are starting younger and younger. So we can't cut corners, and that was a decision that we made. I was not ready for my child to go on the bus. You all know that. But we are I feel so blessed by how far our daughter has come. And I hope, that my son gets to go through the program.
Yeah, I hope so too. I know that I did not want my kids to be going to, and not that there's anything wrong with going to the public school for kindergarten, but I knew that they were going to be learning money and time and reading and doing math and doing science experiments in their classroom and not learning their colors and numbers and things that they learned in preschool.
Right.
Repeated again.
Right.
I wanted my kids to have that advantage, and that was so important to us that no matter what amount of money was, presented to us, I knew the value in that program and in Mrs.
When we were talking about doing this video, there are so many, we could have packed this room.
Yeah.
Just the amount of, I know Christine, she said, I know tons of families. We all know a ton of families, and you're right, it is a community because we've become such good friends as a result of it.
Hi, my name is Jean Hoger. I direct the preschool and kindergarten here at Holy Cross. I've known Denise Elm for probably 20 years, and she's been with Holy Cross for over 15 years. I appreciate what all the parents have said, and I know there are many more because Mrs. Elm's first kindergarten class graduated from high school last year, and they are now like 18 or 19 years old. I want to add to the video by letting you know that wherever your child is at in his or her developmental journey, Mrs. Elm will meet that child where he or she is at and help that child grow so that they will go into first grade feeling confident and loving learning. I can be reached if you have questions at the Holy Cross Preschool number and also at my email, jeanhoger@comcast.net. Registration is ongoing. It will stop on April 1st. We hope to have a class of 16 children. Thank you for your time and consideration. I hope that you pray about this and consider this investment in your child's life. Thanks.